what specific workforce development programs and initiatives does the GCA Trades Academy have to prepare Guam's workforce for the technology explosion coming?
Well, we've got a variety of programs, but we did things that were a little different than anybody else on this island. Number one, we departed from a lot of the conventions of educational institutions. We do not have semesters. We run classes in cycles. And so the cycles go back and forth. We're also demand-based. If there's a demand for classes, we offer them. When the demand wanes, we slow it down and stop them until the demand picks up again. So we're able to scale up and scale down based upon the demand. We also don't have any grades. And I joke about the fact that I was trained really well in high school and in college to maintain that grade point average and how important that was to have that a high grade point average. But once I graduated, nobody asked me what my grade point average was. Wow. And I'm going, we're focusing on the wrong areas. I understand why they're looking at the grade point average. It's basically a determination of learning, but that's not where we should be focusing on. In fact, educational institutions are actually measuring the wrong things, we feel. And so, yeah, we see people measuring attendance and grades and all this other stuff, but our focus is on the educational experience. And to make the educational experience the best for that student so that the student's time in a classroom, and they can use it all, they have all sorts of opportunities for their time. The best use of their time is to be in our class. If they're in our class, we don't have to worry about attendance because they're going to be there. We don't have to worry about them learning. They're going to learn if that's the best use of their time. We don't have to worry about them passing exams because it's the best use of their time. So we focus in on that educational experience to make sure that it's constructive, because if we do it right, they're going to repeat it. If we don't do it right, they're going to walk away. So
wow, that is an outstanding approach.
Again, taking a look at what's important to the students. And it's not just educational institutions, it's a lot of industries don't understand what their product is. Our product is the educational experience. And we want to make sure that if we're doing it right, there's a line for me to get in versus a line for me to get out of this organization.
That's absolutely awesome. How did you come to this idea, and what was the thing that possessed you to even try something this creative and out of the box? Because a lot of times in academia, they're not really known for going outside of the box. There's a traditional model and there's a traditional way that training and education is delivered, and you don't really go too far left or right outside of those limits.
Well, part of it is the training for education teachers is to focus on this concept called teaching. It's not about teaching. It's about whether the students learn. You could have the best lesson plan and you could execute it perfectly, but if that student hasn't learned anything, have you really done anything? And so bringing in a business perspective into an educational institution. My background is both in education and in business. And in business, you try to focus in on what are the things you need to be measuring. And too often we're measuring the wrong things. We're looking at people's hours at work as opposed to have they done their job. We're looking at payroll versus whether we've got a cost benefit analysis on this. So we've got all those factors, and I'm going, if we do it right, and we tell this to our students, if you are really good at what you do because of you've been trained in that area and you truly enjoy that, and your boss doesn't take care of you, somebody else will, because your work's going to speak for itself. And we've employed that into our organization, making sure that people understand the value of what we're giving people here, and watching lines form. I use this analogy of the food court. You go into a food court that you've never been to before, and you want to figure out where you're going to eat. Don't go to the one that has no line, because everybody knows that's not good food. Go for the one that's got the longest line, because it's been proven. And we try to do the same thing and apply it here.